Hey everyone, this is the Innovator's Mindset with Brittany Lewis. There we go. I love it. All right. I had to stop our conversation because we only have an hour booked, but we
Okay,
could have talked forever. We could have talked forever.
that's right.
I was actually just with Brittany and her team. Brittany is the CEO of Bay Haven Charter Schools. Is that, am I saying it right? Because I know there's
Yes,
two
yes.
things. And I actually was blessed to join your community at the end of June for professional learning. Now, this is going to be out later, and they were done, I think it was May or like sometime in May that actually was the last day of kids,
Yes.
and they hadn't seen each other. And I got to tell you, Brittany, and I said this to you on the day, it was amazing. First of all, I was shocked. First of all, anytime teachers are back in June, you know, they were so nice to me. The vibe in the room was incredible. Just it was really great to be with you all, and I just felt so much energy from your group. And I think I'm a good speaker. I'm pretty proud of the work that I do, but it's so dependent upon the rooms that you walk into. The energy. So kudos to you and your team because I know that you take tremendous pride in your community. But as an outsider coming in, just really what a great group to work with, and just so positive and open to learning. That was one thing that really stuck out to me. So I want to bring that. But the Bay Haven Charter Academy is actually in Panama City, Florida. Which is this true? This is I don't know if you heard this. This is someone who's new to Florida. The more north you get in Florida, the more southern it becomes. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you heard that?
Yes,
Is that true?
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
have you ever Floribama? Have you heard of
I
that?
I didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, and I that is I love everywhere I've been in Florida, but it was just really incredible to be with you. So, Brittany, I'm going to ask you to just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, tell us what you do and how you got there. And I think that's a great place to start.
Okay, so my name is Brittany Lewis. I just finished up my first full year as CEO here for Bay Haven Charter Academy. Um, I've been at Bay Haven with this organization going into my 17th year in education. Before I came to Bay Haven, I had been teaching for 2 years. Literally, after my second year, considered leaving the profession. Um, a unsupportive administrator can really have a negative impact on wanting to even be in the profession at all. So I got a phone call one day. Hey, we got your name from somebody. Would you like to come interview for a fifth grade teacher position? So of course I came and been here for 17 years. So 9 years as a teacher, then went into administration, never wanted to be an administrator. Had people ask me all the time, you want to go back for your master's? And I'm like, no way. Uh, Absolutely not. So I actually took a TOSA position, teacher on special
Oh.
assignment,
Is that a Florida
as
thing
a,
too? Is that a Florida thing? Because I know it's a
I
California.
guess so.
Oh,
Maybe it's an everywhere thing. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But there was an open administrator position and got into it, loved it. Then I got the opportunity to be in professional learning, um, and then finished out as an administrator.
There's so many parallels to your journey that are to mine
Mm-hmm.
because I don't ever want to say that I had a bad administrator, but I really didn't know how good an administrator could be until I went to a different school because I was at the same
Mm-hmm.
point as you. I was about to quit, and then I had the best principal ever and totally changed my career. And that was something,
Yeah.
and I really believe, how crucial administrators are because I'm not saying they do everything, but it's like if you are a great teacher and you have a bad administrator, that could really, make you worse or make you want to leave. And I think that's something people don't really understand. And I used to do a podcast and ask a question, like, tell me about like a great administrator you have. And I asked this for everybody, and the common answer on why they were great administrators, they saw something in me I didn't see in myself. And I think that
Yeah.
that's something that matters. And uh, one of the things I really appreciate about you and is you're the CEO, so you're the
Mm-hmm.
boss. You're the boss, right? You sat at the front the entire time of my session, and you are very eager in your learning. And I feel that sets the tone for the rest of the group. I do want to share a story with you. It's funny. I
Mhm.
remember I was at a teacher convention. I think it was my third year teaching, and my principal had been in the community probably longer than I'd been alive. He was a principal there
Mhm.
forever, and it was his last year. Nicest guy ever. And we were at this convention, and there was like a half day left. And I remember just sitting behind him, and he just got up and left. I was just like, he's like, I'm not doing this anymore. What are you gonna do? Fire me? I'm retiring in 3 months. And it was just like, and you know, and I can say this now. What did we do? We just left. We're like, well,
That's right.
if he's going, we're
Yeah.
going. So, uh, but I think that really sets a tone. So, like that vibe of the day, and because I think that's what I really got from your group was an eagerness to learn. They didn't necessarily agree with
Mhm.
everything I was saying, and which I'm like obviously very okay with because some days I don't agree with what I'm saying. I think that matters is like I'm trying to figure stuff out along the way. Is what do you think has helped build that culture in your school community that you are like really open to new ideas, open to progression? Like other than, and I'm not letting you have this answer, is you modeling it. And I think that's where it
Okay.
all starts from. But where else has your team done that? And the rest of your team is amazing, by the way, too.
Right. So I think just teachers understanding and knowing that they can come and communicate at any point, open door. When I was an administrator here, I used to tell teachers, if you need to come in my office, you can yell, you can cry, you can scream, we can laugh, and then we can get down to business and have a conversation. I think that adds a level of being comfortable and being able to really communicate whatever needs to be talked about. So I think that's a huge part, and also fostering the idea of building leadership within your organization is huge. If we have administrators that are out, we'll ask teachers, hey, would you want to come and kind of do some admin duties, help us out, see a different light other than your classroom? Because I remember being in my classroom, I would always say, why are they doing that? Like, I don't understand, why are they making that decision? And then when you have that lens instead of just your tunnel, the 30,000-foot view,
Hmm.
you understand a lot more
Right.
why those decisions are made. So
I actually, that always like when teachers say, "Oh, admin," I'm like, well, if someone who's never taught told you how to teach, you'd be offended. And it's like administration is a different job. Like it is a different job, and it's not like you can't input or anything like that. But I love that you're giving because not only do they get to see a different perspective, but they also, is this maybe something I want to do? Because I felt that in your community, one of the things I really appreciated was really lending to like voice of your staff. And I won't say the joke, but I will bring it up. I made a joke at your expense right at the beginning because I knew your
mhm.
personality. And the open door policy does not surprise me. It's a Britney Spears joke. So
Yeah.
just you can figure it out, but we're gonna keep it this kid friendly. But it was like, it was kind of funny because it was like probably a joke someone said, but I said it within 2 seconds, and the loudest laugh was from you, which I really appreciated because I was like, oh, because I
That
could
was
have
close.
I could have got kicked out real quick, and so that I think that to me, you and I were talking about this before. You I grew up in a restaurant, so it's like customer service is a thing for me, and is like really taking care of the people, and then that makes things easier. And that approachability is really important. The thing that sometimes people lose, I think, in this is that it's just about being friendly with people. It's not. No, we actually want to do really great things, and this is actually in your statement. You write this. I'm pulling it right off your website. We believe that when we set high expectations for every learner, I'm going to bring that up in a second, and provide the support needed to meet them, students can achieve extraordinary outcomes. So you use two different words here. You use learner and students, right? Learner is everybody, and that includes you,
Mhm.
right? And so when you talk about, because I think sometimes like approachability is like people think you don't have high expectations. No, I'm approachable because I do have high expectations, right? And so like when you say high expectations, like what does that mean for your community? And maybe like I don't know, maybe was there an intentionality in using that terminology of learner? Because I felt that your admin team, that was like all of your admin team was sitting right up front, and they were like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've seen the opposite many times. And so they were very somebody had written like so many notes on what I said, which I was like, oh, you got a lot here. Like, did I even say that much? So tell me about that idea of high expectations, what that looks like for in your community.
So everybody around here feels like if you set the bar low, what do you think they're going to do?
Right.
They're not going to achieve as much as they're capable of. Setting the bar high for everybody. I mean, and obviously learning looks a lot different from student to student, person to person, but making sure that we know that they are aware that they can achieve so much more than they ever even imagine.
Hmm.
It's incredible because I think it was the day after you spoke to us, we got our school grades,
Oh.
and all 5 campuses were A's.
Oh, good for you.
Yay!
Just wait. I
So
haven't done
that
this.
was
I
the
haven't done this in a
best.
while. I'm gonna do something for you.
Okay.
Just say we'll pretend you do that again, and then oh, good for the A's. I haven't pressed that button in a while.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So
I love
it
that.
was, yeah. And I think that looking back at the dates, back in 2019 was the last time that all 5 schools were able to, pull an A. So it just speaks volumes to being able to hold that standard with all students and believe, they can go as high as they want to. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah, and I think that like I think it starts with you all, and I think that's what really impressed me. Because obviously I didn't meet any of your students, but uh, it was just really the expectations for yourself should be higher than what you have for other people. That's what I truly believe is that, if I set myself to a certain standard, then it's when I ask others to do something that if they don't see me doing it, good luck. Right. So I think that
yeah.
that really, really matters. Now, um, one of the things I notice about your group is that there's really core foundational things that you focus on that obviously have led for you to, be graded at that certain level. But there's like future aspirations that you have as an organization too, because I think, you and I were talking, and I think how you set up the day, the 2 days with your group was really talking about some things that are changing. And, there's a big conversation about artificial intelligence and education. So where do you kind of find that I don't want to say the balance, because I don't think it's like, hey, we should do half our time reading and writing, half our time AI, but really kind of making sure foundational elements are achieved in your school while also making sure kids are prepared. I don't even like saying the future, by the way, because it's like, hey, we're not even preparing kids for the world right now in some places. Like we're pretending things don't exist. But that's not the focus for you all. But I don't think we need to like all in AI in education. But like, how are we thoughtful in that approach? So how do you kind of approach that where you're really sticking to some of the foundational elements while also ensuring that every kid has an opportunity to find success? And as you said yourself, in a way that's meaningful to them, that's personalized to them, because it's not like we don't want every kid to be cookie cutters, have the same things that when they walk out. So like, how do you focus that in your organization?
I just feel like really our teachers are learning.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, there are some that are very resistant to this whole AI idea.
Yep.
And honestly, I mean, I'm so fresh to it. I think I joked the day after you were there and said, my extent of AI is, can you please change the tone of my email? So I don't sound, too much. Or
That's why you
can you
were
make
nice to me all the time. What?
please change the tone of my email? Um,
To George.
or can you please create a caricature of my colleague down the hall? I mean,
Right.
you know, I'm very fresh to AI, but
Mm-hmm.
it's incredible the things that you can do with it, and just sparking some of that imagination, innovation. So I really think it's just teaching our teachers how to uh, manage this world that we're already in.
Yeah.
and help our students use it for good. Because if we ignore it, our students will find a way to use it not in a negative or in a negative
Or
light. I mean, for sure.
well, now
So
that was a big topic of conversation throughout my time with you all, and from what I gather on the next day as well, because I like you and I in our conversations, we have some of the same concerns that other people who like, no, we're not using this. We have the same concerns, but it's like, hey, but you do have to like learn this and go from a place of like an abundance of information versus, a lack of. And if we aren't intentional in our own usage of it, it is really easy for kids. I know this is harsh to become dumber through all of this stuff
mhm.
because it's like it will do everything for you. So, when I write, I do everything I can to write as much as possible, but then I'll ask it for feedback. What I don't do is say like, write this for me, and then I'll adjust it later because it's like takes away my thinking. And I think so my storytelling, like I know it's funny, but I've been offended when I've like thrown stuff into AI after I've written it, and it's like, oh, you took all away my personality. That's not very nice.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
do you not like me? It's-
Well, and it's funny you say that because that was kind of what I understood to be the biggest pushback was people felt like it took your authenticity away. And
right.
I think that it totally can if you allow it to.
Well, so, and I'm not making any assumptions on how old you are, but I think we're in the same ballpark, right?
Mhm.
The one thing we used to be told in school, maybe this is different in Canada versus, where you grew up, is that never write in first person, right? Like you should never write in first person. There should be like just basically factual. And it's like, well, that's what AI does now. So like, now have we changed our views on, because I think that the personal connection that a person makes is what is more valuable than ever, where we were told not to do that. Do you remember that at all? Or is that just a Canada thing?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Right. And so that is something that is happening. And how does that change things in our world? There was a really great conversation I want to bring up with you. And I don't know her name, and I apologize because I can't remember. I think was she kindergarten teacher? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And she was, listen, what I loved about her and is she had some concerns about the stuff I was saying. Right. And I'm okay to say that. Like I said, like we want pushback on stuff because then we have an opportunity to address it. But what I loved about the conversation was she's like, hey, like I'm really concerned about this, but I really want to figure this out. And maybe is there something I'm missing? Or is there something that she kind of taking that approach? And what I appreciated about her response was she was asking questions to grow, not to stand still, because that is something people will like ask questions, kind of like gotcha questions, because it's like, do you know what I mean? But she was not like that at
Mhm.
all.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about. Like, can you like, I know you shouldn't speak for her, but that experience, like that, asking questions of growth, is that something that you've been intentional about, encouraging in your organization? Because like I said, part of that approachability is they're not just always approaching you with good stuff,
Right.
right? Like that's part of approachability is you want people to be able to comfortable sharing that. So like, is
Right.
that something that that asking questions, even though we have concerns, to still grow, is that something you've been intentional about with your team to develop in your organization? Like, tell me more about that. Because I know this is weird. I don't even know this person. I was so proud of her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I felt she was more positive after like going through stuff that made her feel very uncomfortable, which that was what made me proud. She's like, okay, like I got to try this stuff. And she did it
Yeah.
first. I thought that was really cool. Do you remember, what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, that interaction,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah. She
So
was great.
it's a huge change, and change is very scary for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Um the kindergarten team here at the Bay Haven campus has been doing, these memory books, and it's been, obviously hard copy book. But she wanted to change it into something digital.
Wow.
And I think that, she was really excited about this idea because it's something we've been having issues because I don't know, copy machines don't take construction paper real
Right.
well
That's
when they
fair.
print on them.
That's
So
fair.
that has been an issue and a fear of, oh my goodness, we're not going to be able to do these memory books anymore. But you kind of opened the door and allowed her to think of a different way to do it. And not only a different way, but a way that can be shared with other family members that don't live here, that can be kept forever and ever. So just her being able to be uncomfortable, because she was very uncomfortable with this change,
Yeah.
but willing to really explore it, I think was huge for her, and she was excited about the idea.
Well, I'm gonna correct you on something.
Okay.
You ready for this? She opened the door.
Okay.
She opened the door. That's what I liked about it. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't
Yes.
open any
Yes.
door. She just said, "Okay, I'm gonna give you a chance. You can come in, show me some stuff, right?" But that's what I felt was really positive about that interaction. And she's like, "I'm a little bit leery about this stuff, but I'm opening to this," and that really meant a lot. So like to have that opportunity was great, and I love that. That's I hope that if everyone's the same place when I leave, then I haven't really helped. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
But
Yeah.
you do, like, if people aren't open to it, like I can't do anything, right? It's kind of like
Right.
I there is even as a teacher, is like there is a hey, listen, kid, listen, student,
Right.
there's a responsibility on you to learn too. And so when you have a teacher modeling that, it's way easier for kids to do that. But when you have, and I've seen this, in my career at some point, some teachers are like, no. Some administrators, no, I'm like, this is the way. And I will not be open to this. And I was like, well, when a kid does the same thing to you, just remember this moment. Right.
Right.
So
Right.
that's to me. So, okay. We're recording this in July. It is the new school year is coming upon us, probably even as you are, your staff, hopefully your staff is, and hey everyone, incredible, amazing group. They were really, they actually made me cry, by the way. That's all, which is
really.
Yeah, everyone was super nice to me, and I was like, started crying. I'm like, geez, this is horrible. It's always a little embarrassing. It's not really hard to make me cry, so that maybe it's not a big deal. But what's your goal? Like, what is your hope for this school year coming up?
The hope for this school year is, look, and I say change, and I don't want that to be a scary thing.
Yeah.
But it's, just let's try something different.
Yeah.
And I've said this a million times to people, I want to try it. If it totally fails, then we'll go back and revisit it. Mm-hmm. But at least try something different. Let's open up some new doors. Let's try to let these kids think a little more outside the box. And I think that the funny thing is people think that AI can make us dumber. And I do think that is a possibility. Yeah. However, if you're intentional with your delivery and how you present it, man, I think it can spark some thoughts.
Yeah. Well, like I have some friends from when I was, like a kid that I'm still friends with to this day. And I started and I know it's not AI, but I started blogging probably about 2008. They are like, when did this all happen? When did you become smart about stuff? Because that was not, I don't remember this when you were younger. And and it was really knowing that anyone could read my stuff. I had to think more deeply about what I was writing. And that's one of the things with technology. So there's an intentionality there. Whereas, and I'm not saying don't write in a journal, but when I write in a journal to myself and no one's going to see it, I can write, and there's benefit of that too. But when anyone can see it, you better be good at it. And when one of the things that really resonated when you started off the day, you talked about that change, and there was a tweet that I had up behind you that was mine, and it was like, I don't even think you.
And I did not see that before.
No, you didn't see it. And
okay.
And I think what you and I really agree on is that, yeah, change is scary, but do you know when it's least scary? When you initiate it. Like when it's being thrust upon you, that's when it's terrifying. So like when all this AI stuff, I'm like, oh no, I'm not waiting for this to happen to me. I'm going to like go figure it out. And that's what I really appreciate about you at the top, because I know I know when the administrator, the leader of the organization goes first, it's way easier to do that. The thing I've said forever, don't encourage people to take risks if they don't see you doing it yourself, which I
Mhm.
felt, which I feel you do a really great job of. But I think that's what I really appreciate about your academy and or your schools. There is one other thing I want to point out too. You know, a lot of your staff. Do you remember this moment? How many of you went to school here? Do you remember that? And a bunch of your
Yes.
staff went to school. A lot of
Yeah.
times in schools and districts and organizations, uh, people that leave and come back, the reason they come back is they liked how it was. They don't want it to
Right.
change. And for people to come back to your community after being a student there and to just say like, yeah, we still need to grow. We don't want just the same. And then not like there's good stuff. And I brought this up that, you know, not tradition's not bad. Bad is bad. There's some
Mhm.
stuff we've done in the past that we should still continue to do. I think that's what really, you know, I appreciate about your organization is that willingness to continue um, evolving to really help the kids in your community right now. So big shout big shout out to you. I won't play any Britney Spears because I don't want to get copyright strike on here, but hey, it was great connecting with you. So
Yeah.
I look forward to, even though I just at your schools, even though it's first time on the podcast, I hope that we stay connected because I really appreciate your
Absolutely.
leadership and your the kudos to you and your organization because y'all made me feel so welcome. So I really appreciate it. So thanks for taking time
Good.
out of your day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And thank you everyone for taking time out of your day. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for all you do. Take care.